In the beginning, let there be light. Once upon a time, way before Netflix or nachos, there was nothing but cosmic emptiness. And then boom, God decides to create everything, like a one-person improv show. On day one, he's like, let there be light. And suddenly, it's light versus dark, cosmic yin-yang style. God looks at the light and says, dang, that's good stuff. He high-fives himself. He's the only one around, after all, and calls it a day, literally. Over the next days, God basically pulls off the ultimate DIY project, separating sky and sea, whipping up dry land, adding plants, all organic, no GMOs yet, and hanging up the sun, moon, and a glittering array of stars like he's decorating the universe for a party. By day 5, he's filling the oceans with fish, hi Nemo, and the skies with birds. On day 6, God gets really creative and makes land animals, from cute puppies to awkward giraffes. And then, as the grand finale, he creates humans in his own image. Think of it like God's magnum opus, creating tiny versions of himself who can laugh, love, and eventually get into all sorts of trouble. He names the first dude Adam and the first lady Eve, plops them in a sweet garden pad, and basically says, make yourselves at home. You're in charge of the zoo now. By the end of the 6th day, God steps back like an artist admiring a finished painting, nods, and says, this is very good. Come day 7, even the Almighty takes a chill pill. He kicks back to rest, Sabbath style, perhaps sipping a divine drink with a tiny umbrella in it. Hey, who knows? Creation was exhausting, okay? In a week, God went from 0 to everything, and even he needed a day off. Thus, the world is born, a perfect cosmic masterpiece, and the stage is set for the craziest family saga of all time. And boy, does it get wild. Adam and Eve, the first couple and the first trouble. So God places Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, which is basically the VIP lounge of creation, lush greenery, friendly animals, probably the best all-you-can-eat fruit buffet ever. These two are living the dream, wandering around naked and unashamed like it's Woodstock every day. After all, fashion isn't a thing yet. They've got exactly one rule on the garden rulebook. Don't eat from that one tree over there, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Simple, right? Adam and Eve are like, cool, no biggie, we've got a million other fruits, we can skip that one. Famous last words. Enter the serpent, a smooth-talking snake with a flair for temptation, the original bad influence. One day, Eve is chilling near the forbidden tree, perhaps drawn in by the gluten-free, non-GMO vibes of its fruit, when the serpent slides up and basically says, psst, girl, you gotta try this fruit. I'm telling ya, it's the best. Plus, you'll get wisdom. God's holding out on you. Eve, being the curious early adopter she is, takes a bite. Dun dun dun. It's like the moment someone hits reply all on a company email. Immediate regret all around. She hands it to Adam. Here, try it, you'll love it. And he chomps it too. And just like that, paradise lost. The fall, paradise lost, over a snack. No sooner do Adam and Eve finish their forbidden snack than they get a serious case of, oh no, we're naked, awareness. They scramble to cover up with fig leaves, the latest in Eden couture. When God comes strolling through the garden for the usual evening chat, Adam and Eve are hiding in the bushes like toddlers who know they've knocked over the cookie jar. God's like, Adam, where are you at? Adam croaks out, hiding 'cause we're naked, FYI. Cue God's eyebrow raise. Who told you that you were naked? Did you eat from that tree I told you not to? Omniscient rhetorical question, because of course they did. Adam immediately pulls the classic drunk party excuse. The woman you gave me, she handed me the fruit. It's kinda her fault. Eve shoots him a glare and goes, hold up, the snake tricked me. The serpent is just there, probably doing the snake equivalent of a smug grin. God isn't amused. The consequences come down hard and fast. It's the first cosmic hangover after the world's shortest age of innocence. God tells the serpent, you're cursed, buddy. Crawl on your belly and eat dust. He tells Eve, childbirth is gonna hurt like a lot. And sorry, but patriarchy's kinda kicking off now. To Adam, hope you like farming, dude. because you're going to sweat for your bread. Also, spoiler, you're mortal now, dust to dust and all that. Ouch. Finally, in the saddest eviction ever, God escorts the hapless couple out of Eden's gates. They're officially banished. Paradise is on lockdown with a flashy flaming sword and an angel bouncer keeping watch. Adam and Eve trudge away, wearing their new animal skin outfits God made because fig leaves were so 5 minutes ago. It's a pretty dramatic exit, from VIP garden life to the harsh reality of the world. Talk about a fall from grace all over one snack attack. The world outside Eden is tougher, but the human saga must go on. And oh, it will, with some real dysfunctional family energy coming up next. Cain and Abel. Brotherly love gone wrong. Fast forward a bit, and Adam and Eve start their family, which, given no instruction manual for parenting, goes about as well as you'd expect after the whole fruit fiasco. They have 2 sons, Cain, the firstborn, a farmer type, and Abel, the younger, an animal shepherd type. One day, the bros bring offerings to God. Cain offers some veggies from his garden. Abel offers the choicest lamb chops from his flock. God, for reasons above a tipsy storyteller's pay grade, favors Abel's BBQ over Cain's salad. Cain is not a happy camper. Imagine your kid brother getting a bigger slice of cake and a thumbs up from dad. Cain's jealousy goes from simmer to full boil. In a fit of rage, and perhaps an early case of anger management needed, Cain invites Abel out into the field, and then whack! Cain murders his own brother, committing history's first fratricide. Way to set the bar, Cain. Later, God asks Cain, "Yo, where's Abel at?" Cain shrugs, playing dumb. "Who, me? Am I my brother's keeper?" Translation: How should I know? I'm not his babysitter. God, of course, knows exactly what went down and is like, "Cain, I hear your brother's blood crying out from the ground. This is not cool." As punishment, God basically puts Cain in permanent timeout. Cain is cursed to be a restless wanderer. The soil won't yield for him. Bad news for Farmer Cain. And he's got to leave home and hit the road. Cain freaks out that someone might kill him in revenge. Who someone is, given the small population, is another story. So God mercifully marks him with a mysterious protective sign, essentially a divine "do not touch" sticker on Cain's forehead. Cain sulks off east of Eden, presumably to start a punk band or a city or something. He does build a city eventually, named after his kid, because why not? Thus ends the tale of the first siblings. One dead, one exiled. Moral of the story: sibling rivalry escalates fast. Maybe just share your toys, or lamb chops next time. Noah's Ark and the Flood, a boatload of trouble. Humanity 2.0 multiplies over the generations, and things get wildly out of hand. Fast forward to Noah's time. The earth is basically a hot mess of wickedness. Think Mad Max meets Animal House. God looks around and facepalms at how his humans are behaving. Violence, corruption, probably terrible dance trends, you name it. He decides to hit the reset button on this whole humanity project. And by reset, I mean sending a massive flood to wash the world clean, like dumping a giant bucket of water on a sticky bar floor. But there's one glimmer of hope: a righteous man named Noah, who isn't partying like it's 1999 BC. Noah finds favor in God's eyes. Maybe he's the designated driver of this era, who knows? God slides into Noah's DMs, divine messages, and basically says, "Build a boat, bro, a huge one. We're talking the size of a small cruise ship, an ark. Oh, and you're going to take your family and 2 of every animal on board because I'm sending a flood to wipe the slate clean." Now, Noah is not a shipbuilder by trade, but when the big G gives you specs, the Bible even lists cubits and everything, you grab a hammer. Neighbors must have thought Noah had lost his mind. Crazy old Noah building a giant boat in his yard. And now he's rounding up giraffes? Picture Noah chasing chickens, herding elephants, and trying to convince 2 monkeys to get on a boat. It's equal parts impressive and totally absurd. Then comes the flood. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, bless you, and their wives all cram into the ark with this floating zoo. And just in time, because it starts pouring like the ultimate storm of storms. It rains 40 days and 40 nights straight. Talk about rain on your parade. The whole world goes underwater like a giant dunk tank. Outside the ark, it's nope, no survivors. Inside, it's probably a smelly circus. Ever been on a farm in the rain? Multiply that by a lot. Eventually, after many soggy months, the floodwaters recede. The ark comes to rest on some mountains, Mount Ararat for the geography nerds. Noah sends out a dove like, "Go check for dry land, little buddy." The dove returns with an olive leaf. Land ho! When the ground is finally dry, Noah and crew stumble out of the ark, eyes squinting in the sunshine, and promptly kiss the ground. I would. Noah's first order of business: build an altar and thank God for not forgetting them. God, moved by the aroma of Noah's BBQ sacrifice, because who doesn't like a good cookout after a storm, promises never to flood the whole world like that again. He even puts a rainbow in the sky as the sign of this promise. The first post-storm, I'm sorry, hallmark moment. Fun postscript: Noah, farmer that he is, plants a vineyard and makes wine. The man earned a drink, let's be honest. He samples a bit too much of his own product, gets drunk and falls asleep naked in his tent. After dealing with a year-long zoo cruise, can you blame him for getting wine drunk? One of his sons, Ham, stumbles upon passed-out Noah and presumably chuckles or shows disrespect. When Noah wakes, with a divine hangover no doubt, he's not pleased and ends up cursing Ham's descendants. So even after the fresh start, family drama survives the flood. Humans, am I right? But hey, at least the world's repopulating and rainbows are a thing now. The Tower of Babel, when everyone started babbling. As generations pass, Noah's great-grandkids and beyond spread out. Sort of. At this point, everyone speaks one language. Imagine a world with no misunderstandings at the drive-thru. Sounds ideal, right? Well, these humans get a big idea in a place called Shinar. Hey, what if we build a mega tower that reaches heaven? We'll be famous and never have to spread out. Essentially, it's the first skyscraper project ever, and the whole world's invited. They've got bricks, mortar, and unified team spirit. For once, humanity is literally on the same page. They start building this Tower of Babel, envisioning a stairway to heaven pre-Led Zeppelin, and it's going up, 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 until God checks out the construction progress and goes, "Oh boy, humans. Look at them, all working together. If they can do this, they'll think they can do anything. Time to spice up their language skills." In what might be the funniest intervention ever, God confuses their language. One morning on the site, a bricklayer asks for more bricks, and the guy hears it as blah blah gibberish blah. The foreman's like, "Ke, ni hao, stotiskazal." Pure babbling chaos. Construction comes to a grinding halt because no one knows what anyone is saying anymore. The project ends in a comical disaster. Imagine an ancient UN meeting with no translators and a lot of frustrated hand gestures. The grand city dream fizzles. People throw up their hands and group off by whatever language they can understand, then wander off to found different nations, probably after arguing over who messed up the project. And that's how we got all the languages and cultures, courtesy of the ultimate divine prank on human overconfidence. The unfinished tower stands there as a monument to confusion. Moral of this story: sometimes a little communication breakdown can really ruin your high-rise plans. Also, maybe don't try to crash heaven's party without an invite. Abraham, father of a nation and a late-blooming dad. Now we zoom in on a single family, because Genesis loves its family dramas. Meet Abram, later renamed Abraham, because God's into rebranding, apparently. Abraham is living in the city of Ur, somewhere in ancient Mesopotamian suburbia, when God shows up like a travel agent from out of the blue. "Pack your bags, Abe. I'm sending you on a journey. Leave your home and fam and go to the land I'll show you. Trust me, it's going to be great. I'll make a huge nation out of your descendants. You'll be famous, blessed, the whole 9 yards." Astonishingly, Abram says, "Sure." No Google Maps, no itinerary, just faith, and maybe a bit of wanderlust. He grabs his wife Sarai, later Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all their servants and flocks, and off they go into the wild unknown like a dusty road trip movie. Abraham's journey has its share of oops moments. A famine hits, so they detour to Egypt. Worried that 65-year-old Sarai is too beautiful, a compliment and a half, Abraham tells everyone she's his sister to avoid getting killed by a pharaoh who might fancy her. This leads to an awkward situation with Pharaoh, who indeed takes a liking to Sarai, and a round of divine plagues as God's way of saying, "Not cool, Pharaoh." Pharaoh figures out the half-truth and basically kicks Abe and co. out of Egypt with an exasperated, "Dude, why didn't you say she's your wife? Take your wife and go." Strike one for Abraham's "she's my sister" trick. He pulls a similar stunt later with another king. Some people never learn. Back in Canaan, God keeps reminding Abraham of the big promise. All this land will be yours, and your descendants will be as numerous as the stars in the sky. Small catch, Abraham and Sarah are childless and super old now. We're talking late 90s club. At one point, Sarah literally laughs when she overhears God say they'll have a son. Imagine telling a 90-year-old she's having a baby. You'd laugh too, probably pour some wine. Sarah even tries to speed up God's plan earlier by giving Abraham her maid Hagar as a surrogate. Hagar has a son named Ishmael, but God's like, "Nice try, but that's not the promised kid." Sure enough, against all sitcom odds, Sarah in her old age finally gets pregnant and pops out baby Isaac, whose name means laughter, because of course you'd name your miracle kid after the WTF laughter of hearing you'd have him. So Abraham becomes the father of Isaac, overjoyed and probably tired in equal measure, diapers at 100 years old, yikes. But God isn't done with the tests. In the wildest trust fall exercise ever, God later tells Abraham, "Take your boy Isaac, your beloved miracle kid, and offer him as a sacrifice on a mountain. I'll show you." Talk about a horrifying request. Abraham must have been like, "Come again, Lord." But he obeys, heart heavy, taking Isaac up the mountain. Just as Abraham raises the knife, hand trembling, angel on speed dial, an angel yells, "Stop, just kidding, don't hurt the boy." Okay, the angel said it more reverently, but that's the gist. There's a ram caught in a bush conveniently nearby, which becomes the substitute sacrifice. Abraham breathes the biggest sigh of relief in history, and Isaac, wide-eyed, is probably like, "Dad, we good? We're not doing this again, right?" This was a test of Abraham's faith, and he passed with flying colors, though Isaac might have needed therapy. God reaffirms that Abraham will indeed be the patriarch of a mighty nation. Basically, "Thanks for trusting me. I swear I'll bless your socks off. Your descendants will be countless." Abraham's story wraps up with him being a respected old patriarch. Sarah eventually passes away, at 127 years young, and Abraham buys a cave to bury her, the first bit of the promised land they officially own. Abraham even arranges a long-distance marriage for Isaac, making his servant swear to find Isaac a nice girl from back home. Enter Rebecca, who becomes Isaac's wife after a successful camel-watering meet-cute. With Isaac hitched and the promise in good hands, Abraham finally dies at a ripe old age, leaving behind a legacy of faith, some stellar stories, and probably the world's largest family reunion guest list eventually. Isaac, the almost sacrificed son. Compared to his dad's action-packed life, Isaac has a quieter chapter. Think of him as the chill sequel. Isaac's biggest childhood memory was almost becoming a burnt offering. "Thanks, Dad." But he survives to live a pretty normal nomadic life. He's best known for two things: digging wells, the guy loved a good well, and family drama with his twin sons. Isaac and Rebecca have a long wait for kids, but finally, twins arrive, and they're already wrestling in the womb like it's a UFC match. The first twin comes out red and hairy like a little fur ball. They name him Esau, which roughly means hairy, creative, I know. The second one comes out literally grabbing Esau's heel, so they name him Jacob, meaning heel grabber or supplanter, foreshadowing much? These boys couldn't be more different. Esau grows up to be a rugged outdoor hunter, driving a lifted pickup chariot, figuratively speaking, and grilling up venison steaks. Basically Daddy Isaac's favorite. Jacob is more of a homebody, Mama Rebecca's mild-mannered favorite, maybe prefers reading and making lentil stew. One day, hungry Esau comes back famished from hunting, and savvy Jacob has a pot of delicious stew simmering. Esau's like, "Give me some of that red stew, bro, I'm dying here." Jacob, ever the deal-maker, says, "Sure, but trade me your birthright, the privileges of being firstborn." And Esau, in the most epic case of hanger ever recorded, goes, "Ugh, fine, whatever, just take it. Birthright schmertright, I need food." So Jacob literally buys the inheritance rights for a bowl of soup. Esau slurps away, probably not realizing he just got outsmarted big time. Years later, when Isaac is old, nearly blind, and ready to give the formal fatherly blessing, which is a big deal, like reading the will before he dies, Rebekah and Jacob concoct a con to make sure Jacob gets that blessing instead of Esau. Since Esau is hairy and Jacob is not, they disguise Jacob with goat hair on his arms and Esau's smelly hunting clothes. Gross but effective. Isaac, suspicious but ultimately fooled by the goat hair cosplay and a good stew Jacob serves him, ends up blessing Jacob, thinking he's Esau. The moment Jacob scoots out with the prize blessing, Esau walks in like, "Hey Dad, I'm ready for my Wait, what?" Isaac realizes he got duped and trembles. Oops. Esau is livid. He basically vows to kill Jacob as soon as mourning period for Dad is over. Rebekah hears that and is like, "Jacob, honey, you got a GTFO now." She sends Jacob off to her brother Laban's place far away, saying it's to find a non-Canaanite wife, but really to escape Big Bro's wrath. Isaac, perhaps guilt-tripped, agrees and blesses Jacob's journey. Thus, Isaac's chapter of the saga transitions to Jacob's wild ride, and old Isaac fades into the background, likely shaking his head, wondering how his younger days of almost being sacrificed somehow felt less stressful than raising twin boys.